Okay, so this is the last part of our practice Flash assignment tutorials. Today we are going to learn how to zoom in for a close-up. We're going to learn how to move the background so it looks like your character is walking without moving the legs. And we're going to do a cutaway shot so that you want to go from a close-up to a wide shot or a wide shot to a close-up, but not zooming in, just cutting away to the next frame. Alright, so we'll go back to our project and it's going to say, we already made the stickman walk, so we're right here, unlock all layers and set keyframes at 125. So unlock everything and we're going to set keyframes at 125. And it says create classic tweens for all layers and then select all the pieces at 125. So we highlight in between the dots, right click, create classic tween for all layers, and then it says at 125 select everything. So I'm actually going to go down to 25% and I'm going to select everything. You'll get a box with everything in it. And then it just says expand and move until the stickman body is almost the size of the workspace. And so you can't see the legs. So if we go back, I'm just going to start expanding this out. So I think maybe about that size. Then I got to move it back into my frame so that I can see the guy, but no legs. So about right there. So if we watch that, basically all that's happening is it's zooming in to our guy. Now, 120 to 125 is really quick. So if you want to slow that down, you could move them over. Like I could highlight all these and move it over to 135 instead. So now when we watch it, he walks in and then it zooms in to where he is. But since I'm following along, I think that looks better. But originally I had it at 125, so I'm going to move it to 125. Now, if you ever do that, where you move your keyframes back and you have this extra stuff here, don't worry about it. You can, however, highlight it all, except for the dots, right click, and you can go to, where is it? Remove frames. And then it just gets us back to 125. Okay, so that's it. Zoom in for close-up is all just highlight all of them and then resize the whole thing so you have a close-up. And if we're going to zoom out, it would be the same thing. Highlight everything, set new keyframes, and then shrink it down to the new size that you want. Number 4, we're going to make the background move to simulate walking. So set keyframes at 150 and then lock stickman and ball layers. So I'm going to go to 150, set my keyframes. I'm going to lock ball, right leg, body, left leg. Okay, and then we're going to select the grass, sky, clouds, and trees. So again, we can use this, our selection tool, and we can highlight it all, but the stickman and the ball will not be part of what we selected because they're locked. Okay, and then it says at 150, move those 4 pieces to the left until the tree passes your stickman and leaves the workspace. So I'm just going to go to 150. Hold on, I'm going to highlight at 150. And I'm going to move the tree over. And I'm going to go right past. I want it to go right so it's off the frame for what we're going to do next. And then obviously I'm going to make sure that we have classic tweens for everything. is moving so that it looks like this and goes past. So I'll zoom in again, and you can see what that looks like. So there's our frame. We'll watch our guy walk in, and then it zooms into him, and then it looks like he's walking. Now, since you can still see the legs, you can't really tell what did that work, like what does that look like. So you can also go up top to control, and you can go test movie, and then click that, and then a window will pop up that'll show you just what's your movie, what you're going to export. And then it looks a little better because it looks like he's actually walking because you don't see the legs. It's a little quick. Like I said, you can stretch your keyframes out if you want. So since we only have one thing left, I'll do that. I liked it better at 135 for those ones, and then I'm gonna make this at like 180, slow it down a bit. So we'll watch that again. Control, test movie, in Flash Professional. So ball bounces, guy walks in, zooms in, and a little bit of a slower walk. Looks better. Okay, last part, cutaway to empty park setting. So unlock all layers, set keyframes at 151. For us now, it'll be 181. So unlock everything, and you're gonna go right to the next set. So when it's a cutaway, it's like we pushed record here, we recorded all this, stopped recording, and then we zoomed our camera out or changed the shot, and then now we're pushing record again. So it's got to be right the next frames. And then it says select basically everything again that you had, because the ball and the stick man you don't want in this shot because it's an empty park setting, so they're gone. Okay, and then 151, shrink everything so it fills the workspace. So at 181 for us now. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see everything. And I've selected everything, but I don't want the person and I don't want the ball. So I'll lock those. And I'm just going to shrink it back down to the size that I want, and then place it back in. Now the guy's still there, right? So this is just an empty park setting. So once we get that sized, then what we want to do, the ball's not in the frame, right? This is just our frame there. So now we can take this guy again and we can just move him out wherever, it doesn't matter, just get him out of there. So it's going to go from there to, this is the part that we're cutting away to. So that's why the guy's not in it, because it's that part way over here. Okay, so then it goes boom, and it cuts away to that shot. And then it says set keyframes at 160. Well, we're already beyond 160, so let's slow this down again and go, I don't know, 220 or something like that. 200 is maybe even okay for everything but the stick man and the ball. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to go to 210, insert keyframes. And all this does is when we do cutaway, it gives us space to adjust, because if this is the end of the video, it's just going to go cut away to that, and then it's just going to disappear and go right back to the start. And then it says create a classic tween for the clouds layer again, and at 160 move the clouds. So we go to our clouds, classic tween. Now I'm going to go to the start, and since they're moving to the right all the time, I'm just going to reset them so they're kind of back over there. And then at the end, that's good. So we just see the clouds kind of moving through the frame again at the end. Now, if you go back, some of these shots where it's going like this, your clouds are moving at the same rate as your trees, so that might look odd to you. So at any point, on the zoom it'll be okay, but we have our clouds moving to the right. So on this one, you can always go back into your clouds layer and readjust things just a little bit, so that when it actually does go, you know, the clouds are still like moving a little bit, so they're not just dead still. Same with when he's walking here. The clouds are moving, and then you might notice that the clouds just stop. So I can go back in this section and, whoops, and I might go like this and add another classic tween section in there to be able to move them again. Or all you do is now you can remove, you can clear that keyframe, and now your clouds will overlap. It'll go from all the way from there, and it'll go all the way through to when it starts to zoom in. And then I think it looks like it went backwards here on this part, but that's okay. Just have them, make sure you're moving them the whole time so it looks a little bit more natural. And that is it. That's the whole thing. So let's preview it one last time. Control, test movie, in Flash Professional. So ball bouncing. Guy walks in, zooms in, walks past the tree, and since he's gone, we just have it there so the clouds are moving. And you notice now it looks a little better. The clouds are moving, except for that part where the clouds zoom back and then there they move too fast. So if you notice those little things, you can always go back in and go, clouds are moving too fast. Maybe like there instead, and slow it down. All right, that is the last part of the Flash practice tutorials. We'll get into a little bit more complicated stuff after this. Bye.